Hey, J Carlin here, and today for lesson number 8 we're going to be learning our fifth and final open chord position. Okay, so this chord's going to be a D chord. It looks like this, and again this is a simplified 2-finger version of it. All 5 of these chords I'm introducing a 2-finger simplified version that we're going to add on to later. Okay, so technically this is a D suspended chord. For now I'm going to call it a D, just like with the other chords. Okay, so this chord is built a little bit on the higher string. So here is our top string. If you'll recall, this is the highest string up here, right? The high E string. So we want to find the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string. The 3rd fret, and we're going to use our ring finger there. Okay, so it looks like this. And down 1 string on the G string, the 3rd string, we're going to add our 1st finger on the 2nd fret. Okay, so if you make this shape, it should be open string on the low E, open string on the A, open string on the D, 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd fret of the B string, and an open E up there. Alright? It'll sound like this. Now, you'll notice there's an X here on the lowest string, and of the 5 open chords, this is the one that you really have to mute that string. The other ones you can kind of get away with letting the low strings ring. With the D, it's not going to work. The D sounds like this, and this low string sounds like this. It kind of sticks out. It doesn't really fit the chord. Okay, so the easiest way I found to do this is to pull your thumb over and lightly touch it on the 2nd fret. Now you don't want to push hard enough that you're going to fret it. Our goal is to mute that low E string. Okay, so here's the low E string. If our finger touches it, it won't ring. This will allow us to just strum like normal without this string ringing. Okay, the other 5 strings should all ring, so you'll want to check them just like we always do with new chords. Okay, make sure your finger's not too flat and you're not making this top E string not be able to ring. You want them all to ring. Okay, so again, make sure your fingers are up real high like that, not flat like this. You're going to want them up high by dropping your wrist and getting your hand around. Okay, this is especially important on this chord because we're not using our thumb in the back. When our thumb's in the back, it's easy to get the fingers up high. When we're having to use the thumb to mute, it collapses everything. The hand is much more close to the neck, and it's a little bit harder to get that chord out. Okay, this is why I've saved this one for last. Okay, so it's a little tricky, but with a little practice you should be able to get it. So this is what we're going to call our D position chord. Okay, give that 4 strums. Alright, so now you know 5 chords. Alright, we're going to review them real quickly, and we're going to tweak 2 of them just to make them official. Alright, so our first one was E minor. Our next one was A suspended. We're going to leave those 2 alone for right now. The next one's G and C. Okay, now like I told you, both of these are simplified chords. What I would like to do is make these the full versions of these chords. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to add our fingers to the 3rd fret of both these chords. So if you'll make a G chord the way I taught you, bottom string 3rd fret, A string 2nd fret. You notice these 2 free fingers up here can set down on the top 2 strings 3rd fret. Okay, so this is where I'm looking right here. All right, we've already put our finger here, we've already put our finger here. We want to add this to the top 2 strings on the 3rd fret. This gives us a 4-finger chord, and I think switching from this to this should be relatively simple for most people to do because the fingers are kind of hanging out over there anyway. They're just kind of floating around. So this will be your first 4-finger chord that you're going to use all 4 fingers on the chord, right? 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, open, 3rd fret, 3rd fret, right? Now this is a true G chord. It's not a G6, it's not a G with a funny number behind it, it's G, right? This chord works really well to transition into C. All you have to do is pick up these 2 fingers and move them up a string like we've always been doing, but leave these top 2 fingers in place. We're not going to pick these up and move them, so we're just going to do this. Okay, we're going to move these 2 up and leave these here. Okay, this gives us the type of a C chord that a lot of people play C like this, just because it's very easy to switch back and forth from G. Here's G, here's C, right? Just moving those bottom 2 strings. So sometimes when we change chords, we can actually leave fingers in place that aren't having to move, all right? So that's kind of a new skill that you're gonna have to practice, but with practice, you should be able to do it, leaving these anchored. Stay put, okay? So now we have 5 chords, and to set us up for the next lesson where we're going to be learning some songs, we need to practice changing between all these chords. So what I'd like you to do is take one chord and try to switch to any of the other chords. So we're going to start with E minor and switch to the A, and then go back to the E minor and switch to the G, E minor again, and switch to the C, E minor, and switch to the D. So try that, every possible combination. Then start on the A, do the same thing. A, we've already gone to E, so let's go to G. All right, back to A, up to C. All right, we want to be thinking about how our fingers can move between any of the 2 chords, right? And again, we want to try to move the whole shape at once. We want to avoid going 1 and 2 and 3 and moving the fingers one at a time. So we want to practice doing this real slowly where we can move in a unit, either moving these fingers as a unit, moving these fingers as a unit, whatever we need to do, okay? So one great way to practice these chords, honestly, is to make the shape and hold it and do something else. Watch some TV, hang out, whatever. If you want to be strumming it, that's fine. But just holding a G chord and picking up it and remaking it, you know, this is really great practice because it gets you faster each time you do it, okay? And again, you want to be able to make the shape and just lay it down, not going one finger at a time. We're looking for this, we're looking for this, snapping right to it, okay? That's important, all right? So practice that with all 5 of these chords, the new full G, the new full C, and the simplified D, all right? We're going to use those 5 chords in the next lesson where we're going to start to learn our first song, okay? So practice up.